welcome everybody back to Boring People. We've had a little break due to our spring break, and
just going on.
Traveling.
We tried our best, honestly, to try and get like a really cool video up for you guys, but YouTube keeps trying to take it down. We are trying to do our best effort to keep it up, though.
Mm-hmm.
Ben and I recorded some really interesting content, which I think a lot of you guys will like, because we do talk about music a lot on the podcast.
Yep.
And so, hopefully, I'm going to say this with my fingers crossed, hopefully, we can get the future album reaction up by Friday.
Yes.
Which would be tomorrow at the recording of this. But, looking forward to today, in this episode, we have my friend Dani Miller back once again on the podcast.
Sup, brother?
Alright, so we already have him tweaking out on any other podcast.
Don't worry, I'm not like Ryder Woodson. My favorite artist is Lil Baby.
That was a funny episode.
Yeah.
I liked having Ryder on. I want to get him
That
on
was
again.
funny.
Yeah, it was good.
That was fun. Once he goes to college for a semester, I'd like to have him come back on and talk about that. That'd be really
Thanks.
interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
1 year update of the Ryder Woodson podcast. Now, I feel like as we're getting closer to like summer, like right now, what is it, like end of March?
Beginning of April
Yeah.
when this
Almost
comes out.
Yeah, beginning of
March
April when this
28th.
comes out. So, for us, it's kind of basically time for us to decide where we're gonna go to college.
Yep.
We've definitely brought this up on multiple podcasts.
Yeah.
Where like we're trying to pick where we want to go. I'm down to my last two schools. Danny's committed to a school, and you, I think you have a plan, right? Like,
I do
we
have a
to
plan.
talk still.
Yeah, I do have a plan. I'm just waiting on touring one more school, April 12th.
Which school?
Tampa,
Okay.
UT?
UT. Oh no,
USA.
no, I lied. It's the full FIU tour because I did the express tour the first time, and I liked FIU. I think I'm gonna go to FIU, but I only did the express tour, which is an
It's
hour.
too fast, bro.
Yeah,
the
bro.
full tour, you're going to like it.
Yeah, so I'm
You
excited
should
for that.
slide with us to a Mid Students Day.
Yeah, slide with us
Yeah.
on Saturday. We'll spend the day in Miami.
Oh, bet.
Then we
Yeah.
could slide to the stew, record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We can do whatever.
I'm down. Let me know. You all got me
We'll slide
excited.
Miami for the day.
Yeah, I'm down.
That
You
ends,
know.
and the way the dorming works, I don't know if you want to be in an apartment the first year,
I don't know.
but like,
I'm not sure yet.
like if we dorm, like we could do the three of us in one.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like dorming first year is good because you meet people.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. That's kind of where my plan is.
Facts.
And then after, obviously, apartment would be better.
Yeah.
Right now, have you visited UT?
No, not yet.
Are you going to?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Dude, that campus is cool.
Really?
Yeah, I
You liked
think
it?
you'd like it. I
Cool.
think you'd like it for sure. I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah. Right.
But so right now I'm between two schools. I'm between FIU and University of Tampa. I went to UCF yesterday. I don't want to go there ever again.
My
just-
gut told me
dude,
bro.
I got there and the vibe was just not it.
I didn't
Just
even-
was not it, bro.
Give
I
me a
didn't even
comparison
apply,
to like
bro.
something.
Dude, it feels like. Have you been to like Paramus Park Mall in New Jersey? Have you
No.
been there?
No.
All right. Think about like Coastland, but like the buildings are way older, and like the vibe's just not it. Like the vibe is literally just not it.
So it's like the abandoned mall for Stranger Things.
No, but it's not a like no. Okay, the best way I can put this into terms is like you feel like you're in a mall. Like the student union, which is like supposed to be where you're eating, like that's where all your restaurants are, that's where like everything is. That feels like a mall to me. And it feels like a very uncomfortable mall with like a ton of negative energy just built in one building. And I do not like it at all. The classrooms were, like they were classrooms.
Yeah.
Nothing really impressed me about the school. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the area it was in, to be like quite frank too. But and I really did not like the driving over there. I did not f- with that Orlando drive.
The Orlando drive sucks, dude.
And I was gonna go to FSU, bro.
Dude, you
That's two of that.
yeah, nah. Yeah, nah.
Hell no.
Yeah, nah. FSU's crazy just cuz like distance-wise.
Facts.
Also, I know myself. I'd be way too distracted there. It'd be so hard to lock in at FSU.
Yeah.
Like that is just distraction paradise. But let's talk about the schools that we are looking forward to. We all are collectively looking at FIU. Well, you're in FIU, but we're all kind of looking at it.
Yep.
What are some of the things you like about it, Dani? What are some of the things that you don't like about FIU?
So I'm gonna be completely frank with y'all. I got into FSU for the summer semester, and so on the day that UF came out, I was with all my family because that's where I wanted to go. And I recently just got into like a big fight with my parents, and I was on one. Anyways, UF comes out, get rejected. The dream is over with JB, with Alan, with all them boys. You know that I wanted to go be a nerd. You know, for once in my life.
Yeah, nerd. All right, buddy.
The dream is over, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to FSU. So I do everything to go into FSU, and then I look at my acceptance letter, and it says, here are the conditions for your getting in. You need to have your AA completed by summer. Long story short, for my senior year, I got switched over to another high school because of zoning, and because I didn't fill out a paper which I didn't even know about. I thought I was automatically going to get grandfathered in. And this high school that I'm at only lets me take 12 credits of dual enrollment, not 18 like I was supposed to.
And dual enrollment, for those of you who don't know, is doing college and high school at the same time. Your college classes count towards your high school classes.
Exactly. And so there was no like mathematical possibility of me getting my AA without like looking for some sort of exemption with the school. I went for the exemption. They didn't give it to me. And so I talked to FSU, and I was like, what if I can do a summer A class so that I could get in? Long story short, I don't get in. My thing gets rescinded. And so my dad's just looking at me like laughing because he wanted me to go to FIU, and my mom obviously wanted me to go too. I was kind of bummed about it at the start, but then I just looked at it and I was like, this is just the universe guiding. Like, one thing that my cousin tells me, which I carry on my life with, is rejection is redirection. Like, you know, you gotta
that's real, bro.
That's really good.
So the universe was telling me that's where I needed to be. I have all my family there. What I like about it, my Colombian and Venezuelan heritage is there. The food, the people, it has like a good balance of everything. I'm gonna have a good balance of family and having fun time, and also their MBA program for business is like one of the best in the world. So, I mean,
I think
a good plus.
I think you said fourth best in the nation.
Yeah,
right?
It was like number 4. So like, I can't go wrong. And if I'm like being real, unless I go become a lawyer, I don't want to rely on my degree as much to go do something, because if there's anything I learned from my parents is the best way to make money is having your own business.
And doing it all yourself.
Exactly.
For sure. I think we can all collectively kind of agree upon that.
Yeah.
But this is not advice in any way to anybody else, because, listen, being a business owner is not for everybody.
It's not easy.
It's not an easy thing. It's not like having a job where you clock in, clock out. It's its own thing.
It's got its own pros and cons, for sure.
For sure. And, you know, obviously people look at the lifestyle of, like, you know, someone who owns a business, has a lot of money, this and that, but they don't understand that there's a lot more stress to come with that than actually having a job and this and that. So it is kind of a trade-off, right? Now I want to go into the school, why I want to go to FIU.
Yeah, what's
I
up?
haven't taken the tour of it yet. So granted, this is me not knowing how the campus is at all. I want to be in Miami really badly. Everybody who I've ever talked to thus far has told me that, like, Miami's where you need to be. Everybody who's successful, every one of my mentors told me, go to Miami. So I'm looking forward on that end of things. Another thing is that my family doesn't want me to go to FIU. They don't want me to be in
Where
Miami.
do they want you to go?
They want me to be in Tampa.
Oh.
So
Why?
I know I'm going to get pushed towards Tampa by my family. But if I've learned anything in my life thus far, is that if you do what everybody does, you're going to get what everybody gets. So
That's a great quote.
It's real.
So my thing is, if my family is where they are now, and I know that I wouldn't be happy with that lifestyle,
Right.
I want to go do something else that they wouldn't think of doing, because, like, that's just not what they think, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's me being young, dumb, and rebellious, but like at the same time, that's just very transparently how I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of connections to be made in Miami, and another big pull for me as far as FIU goes is the David Grutman course.
Yeah.
I'd really like to go see that. He's a very well-connected individual who brings in very connected and affluential people. And
Big words for the boy.
Yeah, big
I'm
word.
trying to. I'm hoping colleges will look at that to be like, yo, like, but no, like that's kind of where my brain's at with FIU. I like that it's a smaller school. I like that I won't be too distracted. Although I'll be in Miami, you're still 15, 20 minutes away from Brickell.
Yep.
Which I love Brickell to death. That's kind of where I plan to be in my 20s, like real talk. But yeah, I feel like I had a lot higher of an opportunity of growing my business there and learning how to grow my business there.
Yes.
What about you?
Well, like I agree with what you said about the location. I love the location of FIU. Like I feel like, and there's a Biscayne campus. Key Biscayne is nice, bro.
Where's that?
There's two campuses of FIU. I don't know where it is in Miami. I'm not very.
Fontainebleau.
Huh?
Fontainebleau. That's the neighborhood.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. There.
But there's two campuses. There's one in like closer to central Miami, and there's one in Key Biscayne. Key Biscayne's like high end.
Okay.
Really
But
nice.
the only thing that would suck is, unless you're living in a dorm, the cost of living in the Key Biscayne area is very expensive, dude. Anyways, I don't want to get negative. I enjoyed the campus.
No. That's the point. Though.
I feel you.
That's the point. We gotta be transparent here. What's good and what's bad?
I like that it gives you the feel of like a true university. Like, okay, like this is a university, but it's not a huge school. It's not huge, and I like that. Did you see the video of the stairs at FIU falling?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Did you see that?
No.
It's like stairs in like
That's scary, low-key.
I don't.
Like stairs in a campus?
Yeah, it was like stairs, like it was like outdoor stairs going up.
But they weren't like too important, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna pop the video up right here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Like we'll show the video right here.
But it was raining and like all the drywall and shit was like soggy. It was just falling down.
What I do know about that school is that they put tons of money into it recently.
I heard that too. Also, I'm not done. Like Dani said, the business program, fucking great.
I think that's where we're all going.
Yeah.
Like that's the
plan.
Our path
Yeah, that's the plan. Type shit.
So, all right. So let's redirect. What do you not like about the school, Dani?
All right. So one thing I mean, I'm already going there, but one thing in my ignorance, one thing I don't like about the school is, it's a commuter school. So not a lot of people like live on campus compared to the amount of people that live off campus that commute to the school. But I think that's slowly changing because a lot of people are coming out of state and whatnot. But that's one thing. And then another thing that I don't like about it, obviously, it's not like that American advertised college experience that you see on TV. Like, for example, school like FSU or UF would give you, where it's like a big football team, whatever.
Yep. A lot of school spirit.
But at the same time, they still have fraternities, sororities. My cousin goes there, and she says she's having the time of her life. Like, she lived right next to Tallahassee, and she didn't decide to go there. She joined the honors college at FIU, and she's having a fun time. So, like, especially in a big city, you're never going to run out of things to do.
Yeah, facts.
I think that's one of the biggest things for me as far as being in an actual city is the fact that, like, I know if I'm going to FSU, for example, right? We all know Tallahassee is its own city. It's not the nicest city. But, there's kind of stuff to do. But, like, after, 6 months, you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
And especially if it's not football season. If it's not football season, like, those weekends,
ain't to do.
There's nothing to do. Where if you're in a big city, this is every school I was looking at, is it a big city? There's always something to do. There's whatever, like literally there's something to do, and it could be the most random thing ever. But one thing I really like about being in Miami specifically is the fact that there's crazy cars there.
Yeah,
I'm a really big car fan.
Lots of crazy cars.
There's a lot of crazy cars. There's Supercar Saturday, which is at what's the Hollywood Hotel.
The
What's
Hard
that?
Rock
Hard
Hotel.
Rock. At the Hard Rock, every second Saturday of the month, they have like Kona 6, Pagani's,
Oh,
everything
shit.
there, dude. So like,
That'd be great for networking too. And
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's
For,
what I'm
like,
about to get to.
I want to get to like interviewing those people, make content with those people. Also, another huge thing in Miami is there's a lot of content creators there.
and artists too.
Yeah,
Dude,
bro, that's what I'm about to. Hold on, real quick story, bro. I went on a quick trip to Miami with a couple of my boys. Right, we're just walking around chilling. Bro, I literally like exchanged a conversation with like 3 or 4 artists randomly that needed beats. Just off of a 1-day trip, I made 4 connections.
How'd the conversation start?
I don't really want to talk about that, but
I knew it was
bro,
People got curious. That's all.
it's bro, shit's crazy.
But you know what? It connected you.
But I met like 3-4 people that needed beats, bro.
That's something I plan on doing though.
Hey,
When-
clients, bro, and that's just from one
Bro,
interaction.
and do you know how many studios are in Miami? Crazy.
So many artists come out of
Like
there.
every block, there's a
And
studio.
even like, I don't know if you get into this, but I don't know if you know how to make these beats, but reggaeton artists.
Bro, I literally have an artist that comes here, and we were working on something like that.
Exactly.
I have a demo for it
Tons.
actually. Yeah.
That's another thing I really like about FIU, dude.
Yeah. What?
Listen,
Go.
listen. Ever since I was younger,
Mhm.
I've loved the Hispanic culture, no matter which country, specifically South American. I don't want to say Spain. I care about their culture, but it's just not for me. Whatever. I've loved their food. I've loved the way they talk. I love the language. Not like real talk. I love the language of Spanish.
You should learn it. It's easy.
I'm working on it.
You are. You're right.
I'm working very, very hard
Yeah.
on learning the language of Spanish. And I love I've already said it, but I love their food so much.
Mhm.
I actually love their food so
Bro,
much.
that's where the best food is, bro.
Yeah.
And Miami is like authentic,
Bro.
real. Like,
Facts.
also, I think if I go to FIU, I know I'm going to learn Spanish. Like, I know for a fact I'm going to learn Spanish.
Mm.
But, like, real talk, what do you not like about FIU? Like, in its entirety. Like, if you could give me 2 things right off the top of your head, what do you not like about FIU?
Man, I don't know what's not to like about it. There's just
Why-
so many positives that
All right, let me put it this way. Why did you want to... Give me 2 reasons why you wanted FSU over FIU.
I wanted to go, like, live independently.
Okay.
And I wanted to experience, like, something new. Something that has been in this childhood of mine has been just, like... I feel like, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I feel like I turned into an adult, like, really quick. Because, like, for example, guys, junior and senior year, let's say I was a sophomore.
Mhm.
I went into junior year basically living a community college life. Like, we would go to school 2 days, and then the rest of the days I was working. And these work hours aren't really for, like, a kid my age. Like, if I go back, I feel like I would have quit in the first week if I don't know why I stayed, but basically it's working from 6 a.m. to 12 and then 8 to 4, like 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And that takes a toll on you, especially as a kid. So, like, especially on the weekends, I couldn't go out as much because, like, I'd have to, like, be on time to work early. So, like, I wanted to take a break from all that and go be crazy at FSU. That was my reasoning. Like, I wanted to live something new, make new experiences, whatnot. And I felt like FSU was probably the best place to do all that.
Mm.
But now that I reflect on it, I feel like it was just a bunch of ego at that point. Like, I wasn't going to FSU for the right reasons, and that's what probably, if I would have went there, not anything against the school, but I probably would have gotten distracted, made bad decisions, maybe even, like, gotten an addiction of sort that's, like, like really bad. Because I know college, not even FSU, like, I know kids that have been to colleges, and they come back, and I'm like, hey, what happened to you? Because their body looks so much different.
Mhm.
And they tell me, and I'm like, damn.
You know
Like-
what, bro? That's exactly what your point was in the first place. Rejection is redirection.
Yeah, exactly.
I think from, like, talking to you throughout that whole process, you were super conflicted even when you were committed to FSU. And, like, you would talk to me, like, on the way home, like I'm gonna share it. Like, we can cut it out if you want. But like, on the way home from Tampa, we were obviously talking about like college decisions, and I told you just gotta go with your gut. The reason why I didn't even want to apply to FSU is because I didn't want, like, I knew first off I'd be really distracted. Two, yeah, like, you know, I feel like I grew up quickly. Like, I have my fun, but at the same time, like, I feel like I'm more mature for my age. I just want to work. I just want to do this and that. But like, I know that college experience for me is just not going to be it. I think I'd just find myself living in 3D. And I think you're the same way with me on that. Because I've seen you in a setting like that, and it's just like, it doesn't suit you well.
Yeah, I know. Like, I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been like a class clown, like always trying to make people laugh. And if I would have been put in that spot, I would have done some stupidity, basically.
Shit gets bad in college, bro.
Yeah.
You
like,
know
I
what
would have
mean?
done,
Especially with frats, dude.
Yeah, dude,
I would have done dumb
that's where it
things
gets
just to get people's acceptances. That's what I couldn't see. And also that was a really big part of me like coming to FSU, is because people know the name. Like, when you tell somebody, hey, like, so where are you going to college? For example, they always ask me at the country club I work at. And I said, like, wow, I was committed to FSU. I would be like, FSU? They'd be like, wow, like, nice. That's a great school. So I was trying to put appearances out for people.
Yeah.
But, like, it wasn't something that truly made me happy. And I feel like that's a big thing in this world. And I was talking about that with my dad at the Miami Open this past weekend, was like, you see all these people with Gucci hats, Gucci shoes, Gucci purses, Louis Vuitton, all these designer brands, and they may have the money or they may not, but we're all, especially with social media, we're all putting out appearances to people because we're so insecure with ourselves. And that's what I was doing. I was so insecure with my own self that I was trying to put out a front to people, which really wasn't me, you know.
That's real.
Luckily I got lucky in a way that I ended up in the place where I need to be.
Yeah.
But not everybody goes through that, and people have to live different experiences.
Yeah. It's impressive too that like you analyzed yourself like that and you got out of that situation and realized what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, a lot of people can't do that.
And had the maturity like to be front with yourself. Because look, there's people who like that would happen to. They understand like, okay, that's not the best situation for me, but to still continue to have that clarity, to be able to look at yourself, analyze it, and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that is pretty mature.
Facts.
One reason I don't want to go to FIU, which would be kind of similar to what you said, would be like the name. Like, people hear the name FIU and they're like, and like, you know, like if you want your degree to go to do something for you, you obviously want to go to a big school because big schools, bigger names,
better credentials.
But you know what? Like, after that was initially like a really big concern for me when it came to any of my schools. But I also realized, like, at the end of the day, like, that doesn't matter at all.
Facts.
It depends what you gain from it. And everyone says, like, you can get your degree anywhere. It matters who you meet. And let's be real. Where are you going to meet the best people possible?
Miami.
Look, if you want to be somebody not like who we want to be, we're people who want to be business owners. We're people who want to be hyper successful. If you want to have a job, you want to find a good way to get into a corporation, you want to find this and that, something like that, then yes, I think you should go to a big school.
Mm-hmm.
From in a general perspective, 30,000 and up. I'd say, you know, like one of the bigger name schools.
Yeah.
Because you will meet those people who will get you a job and do all that. But if you want to go be someone who's going to be on a different level than everybody else, you can't do what everybody else does.
Great point as well. And you said that before too. That was great.
And
Facts.
so
that's the same thing that professional athletes say on documentaries. Like, to be extraordinary, you have to do extraordinary things.
Yeah. You can't do the same thing as somebody else and expect different results.
Exactly. So
It's foolish.
So my plan in college is to do literally what everybody else isn't doing. And I won't really be partying, and I'll just be really focused on my business, trying to grow that,
Facts.
basically trying to live as minimalistically as possible while I'm in college and just put all my money towards my business.
The first 100K is the hardest, but after that, it's exponential.
Yep.
Well, I think it goes with any zero. So it's like your first 10K a month is going to be the hardest 10K to add ever.
Yeah.
Because you have to figure out how to do it. and then actually do it. And it's your first time doing it. But once you're at like 100K, or let's say to go to the next 100K, the next 100K is hard, but it's easier than that first 10K.
Right.
Because you're already learning how to multiply money. Now you're just have to doing it on a bigger spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And that just continues to be the issue.
Just scaling and
It's
scaling.
just scaling and scaling and
Yeah.
scaling. But if you have someone who's in that position where they have scaled and they can teach you how to scale, that's what you want. I think that's probably the most important thing is learning how to scale.
Team Drake or Team Kendrick? Let's go down the line. Danny?
Team Kendrick all the way.
Look,
Kyle?
I love kdot. I love kdot. I love kdot. I love Drake too. I love Drake. But you gave me two options and there's a third. And I'm standing on
I'm
my
saying
ground
Team
of three.
Drake or Team Kendrick.
I'm standing on my third team of Kanye. Kanye entered
Okay.
himself in this, and he told them both,
Yes.
both themselves, and that's where I'm standing. I'm standing with Kanye's the GOAT.
No.
Everyone else can fuck off.
Nah, but in this initial.
Yeah, but that's not what I
who stand
asked
with?
you. Team Drake or Team Kendrick?
In this situation, because I like Drake as a person more than I like Kendrick as a person.
That's wild.
That's a crazy
what
statement.
I'm
That's
going with.
wild.
That's what I'm
What
going
about
with.
Drake?
If they're waging war, I'm going with Drake.
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
How are you a Kanye
look,
fan
hold on.
and you like Drake?
That's what I'm saying. Look,
Why can't I like both?
I have a question, Kyle.
Because they hate each other.
So?
It's like you like Ronaldo and Messi. It doesn't make
Why
sense.
can't I do
Kyle, I have a question.
that? Like, I can do both.
So, look, I was expecting you to say, look, I love Drake's music just more than Kendrick. I relate to it more. I'm going to pick Drake. Nah, you said I like Drake better as a person than Kendrick Lamar. What
Alright.
about Drake is more
Alright,
respectable
alright,
than
hold on,
Kendrick
hold
Lamar
on,
as a
hold on.
person?
You have to look at it from my lens. Music.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, look. That's what I'm going about.
Okay.
From my lens, who am I going to respect more? Someone who's a business person and made billions of dollars by leveraging their music career, or someone who's just a really good poet and writer? And
Or somebody who came out of the streets of Compton, who's every single one of his friends is dead. He's the only one that made it out, and he's a fucking legend.
I respect that.
Or Drake, who everything was handed to him, and he flaunts it on Instagram.
I wouldn't say everything was handed to him. That's still a lot of dedication, sacrifice, and whatever.
I agree. He worked hard, but
My opinion is just because someone doesn't come from, let's say, a Compton, does not mean it's just
I agree.
handed to them.
No, I agree. But Lil Wayne
Can-
is the anchor of Drake,
Yeah.
and
He
was
defined Drake.
until 2016. Then Drake started being on his own shit, and he was really popping. And then he stopped writing his music.
I mean, like, I feel like every artist like has somebody who gets them.
Yeah, no.
Started.
With Kendrick, it was
Kanye, Jay-Z. Kendrick, it was Dr. Dre found
yeah,
him.
it was Dr.
And
Dre.
then, okay, actually, I really did want to talk about this with you because I saw this on like TikTok or something that like J. Cole
Was
and
it Nardwuar?
Drake helped make. I don't know who
Oh,
it was, but
never
J.
mind.
Cole and Drake helped build Kendrick to like be like big.
It
Like, put him
wasn't.
on the
It
map.
wasn't Drake. It was J. Cole was the one who showed Dr. Dre Kendrick Lamar. He's the one who introduced the two. And they met at a concert. And then like a week later, Kendrick was at Chili's with his friends, and he got a phone call. He picked it up, and it was, "Hello, this is Dr. Dre." He thought it was fake. He thought it was like a scam call or something. I don't know. He hung up. Dre called him back, picked up. He hung up again. Third time he picked up, he was like, "All right," and then the rest is history.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look, from my perspective, I like the businessman more.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
world. That's my world. That's
I
what I
feel you.
respect. When you want to talk about music, when you want to talk about lyrics, meaning, whatever, come on. I mean, that's not
Okay.
something that like you
Thank
can
you.
compare the two, right?
Thank you.
You want to talk about the actual ability to rap and sing good music.
It's not a
Rapping,
debate. You're exactly right, Kyle.
I think it's Drake there. That's where I think. That's where I think.
Bro, but if you look at Kendrick's discography, Like,
no.
That's the first time
just
I've,
keeps
I've
getting-
had to stand up.
he just
on
keeps
this
getting
podcast.
better and better and better and better.
I love Kendrick.
You can't say this and then say Drake can rap better than Kendrick Lamar. You can't say that.
I said rap and sing.
You didn't say sing?
Yeah, I did.
Run the
Yeah,
clip back.
Yeah, like that.
He did? He did? Okay,
Yeah, run it
okay,
back, run it
okay.
back.
Sing maybe. Yeah.
I think, from my perspective, when it comes to being able to to use different flows, although they might not be original, but to be that versatile, I think Drake is more versatile. I think that's where I am. But I respect Kendrick's music a lot. I do. I respect Kendrick.
Kyle, have you listened to Kendrick Lamar?
Have you listened to Rich
Yes,
Spirit
yes,
by
of course.
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
Bro,
You don't
Kendrick
think that's
Lamar,
versatile?
I
Drake
listen to
makes
probably every single.
Okay, Drake makes
I
what?
don't want to say that.
Drake makes hip hop, R&B, house, drill, right? Kendrick,
He sings in different
And
languages
UK
too.
rap
he
too.
does. Yeah, drill. Okay. Kendrick makes hip hop. Kendrick has made funk. That's Wesley's theory on To Pimp a Butterfly, the intro. It's a funk song. These Walls is also kind of funky, but it's also like weird progressive. I don't even know this. It's like progressive indies, something, but it's not hip hop.
Okay.
Think about songs like Pride, right? Like what genre is that? Like
Dude,
R&B? I guess
made
that
a
would be
song
kind of
with
R&B.
U2. He made a
Yeah,
song
with you too. That was it. XXX with you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's a tough song.
Yeah.
That album of Damn probably solos any of Drake's albums. Like album for album. Like I'm not gonna hold you. Damn probably wins album for album.
Yeah, it does.
And any one-on-one comparison, like I'm not discrediting.
Yeah.
Listen, what I'm trying to because I know I'm gonna get slandered, dude.
And you know what? That's
and it's
that's what should happen.
I don't think so.
You
'Cause
deserve it.
Music is subjective.
I agree.
Music's subjective, so you can't say that fully.
I agree.
My opinion is I enjoy Drake's music more. I think it's more versatile in the fact that he goes from an R&B to singing in different languages to a UK drill to spinning in like an Arabic, and then goes back to like rap traditional super like I don't want to say super lyrical because the Kendrick fans are going to be.
And
all
he's
mad
great
me.
at diss tracks too.
Drake, dude.
Drake is good at
Drake's
diss
a
tracks.
master at
Drake is good at diss
Doopy
tracks.
Freestyle is still one of my favorite
Yeah.
Drake songs.
No,
no doubt.
I like Drake's music. I just can't
think it's
respect
one of
him as a person.
I think it's more. You can't respect him in the fact of musically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, as a musician, I can respect him.
Because as a businessman, you have to. Like you
Drake
have
is
to.
an icon. Kendrick is an artist. That's
I
what I'm
wouldn't.
Simply put.
Look. I wouldn't disagree with you.
Simply put.
But when it comes to taking either side, I'm with Drake.
All right.
That's where I am.
All right.
But I understand both perspectives.
One day, Kyle. One day you'll grow up and you'll see.
No. I don't think it's not about growing.
No,
up.
I'm telling you, bro.
It's not because for me, music it's about enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do love the complexity of music and understanding music, I listen to music for enjoyment. When I want
feel that.
complexity and I want to think and I want to do things like that, that's when I turn on a podcast. Because that's what's gonna
Okay.
Because first off, that's what's gonna register with me more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually learn something.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I understand how the mind works very, very well. And what you put into your brain is going to make your brain think that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if I listen to too much rap, for example, I know for a fact I become a more violent person. I know. Listen. Like I'm
That's
just
true
being
though.
real.
The frequencies in the song.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just because what you're putting, like the lyrics that you're putting into your brain.
Facts.
I
Michael Jackson
I
talked
want to
about
do
that.
bad things more. Like
I know what you mean.
yeah. I don't want, like, I'm more easily angry.
Yeah.
And I just feel like not in a good conscious space. When I'm listening to a podcast, right? So, like, I listen to Andrew Huberman, for example. I think more consciously about my body and my health and my mindset. When I listen to people, like, let's say Bradley Martin. Now, a lot of people know Bradley Martin. For those of you who don't watch Bradley Martin, he's like kind of like a bodybuilder, social media workout guy, right?
Yeah.
But what people don't know is that on his podcast, he goes into like deeper things. His dad died when he was really, really young. He talks about getting help mentally, working on yourself mentally, becoming a man and growing mentally when it comes to that. And, you know, he may not be the smartest person ever, but he's a really smart businessman. He's done what he's doing really, really well, obviously, to be where he's at. And I think that he's had a lot of growth as far as maturity in the brain and getting over something and growing from something, that I can gain something in that, right? Or if you're listening to, like, David Goggins. I mean, listening to David Goggins' podcast when he's on Rogan, or anything Rogan, you're always learning something. If I want to learn something, that's what I'm going to. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's like, I get that. And you are going for, like, textbook information, like knowledge. I go to Kendrick Lamar to help me, like, with problems in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, problems with my ego and shit like that.
But that's what I was explaining with Bradley Martin.
I feel you. I feel that.
Is that there's a personal relationship, like there's a personal, I want to say connection.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, when I feel like I relate to him, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I relate to him in many ways. So that's why I listen to him. So, like, if I have an issue going through my life and he happens to be talking about it, obviously I'm going to, like, feel personally connected with that, right?
I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
So, like, yeah, like, I understand. Like, if I think we just interpret music differently. I think of it as enjoyment. You think of it as an art. Although I know it's an art, I still take it as enjoyment.
Yes.
Right?
Valid. W. Agree to disagree. It's the best way to end shit.
Not even to, like, end shit. Just being
to settle.
Not to settle. To understand each other.
Yeah.
That's the goal of a conversation. A conversation should never be to argue. An argument should never be to argument.
Yeah.
It should just be...
Wait, run that back.
An argument should never be an argument. It should never be you versus somebody else. It should be a conversation of trying to understand a different perspective other than your own.
Yeah.
W cool.
That's real.
And speaking of understanding what other people think, we have Ryan Garcia kind of going on like a little rant, I want to say. I don't know how much of this you guys have seen. I've seen a little bit.
I've seen a little bit too, and I don't know if you guys heard about this. I don't know if you guys saw this. Apparently, I mean, he tweeted a bunch of shit,
stuff,
like loads and loads of shit. Apparently, bro, you know what he tweeted about?
The
fucking
bridge.
Baltimore.
Yeah. So, another thing I heard about that, though, is that was like tweeted out, deleted, then like brought back. Some weird thing happened with it.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, who really knows? And I'm sorry if you do take that as like, okay, Ryan Garcia sees the future. I'm sorry, please reevaluate the situation a little bit more carefully.
So did he say that before it happened?
Yeah, he said.
I believe so.
He said like I don't know exactly, but basically
on March 26th, something bad's gonna happen in Baltimore. Very rough around the edges, but yeah.
Bro, I don't care if people call him crazy. He knows
something.
He definitely knows something.
And they shut him up, bro. You know, like it was like 3 or 4 days after he posted his weird ass video. I will no longer be talking about anything except sports. And like, bro, what?
I think
they probably cloned him already.
No, I think it's because his fight contract is.
Oh, okay.
That like his fight is in jeopardy because of his mental well-being right now.
Why is he crashing out? What happened?
Listen, I don't know like what the validity of his thing is. Is that so? He started off by saying like they kidnapped him, they tried to kill him, and they took him to Bohemian Grove. Did horrible things.
Made him watch
people.
Yeah, made him watch,
and then just let him free. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me exactly.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, how did he just get free? And then he went on to kind of say that when he was 2 years old, they did those things that they were doing in front of him to him. And then,
did he say that? That's strange.
That's interesting, bro.
Yeah, that's strange.
That's what he said. And apparently he said he has videos of it. I'm saying apparently because I don't know how this is where it's interesting, because if you want to push this kind of thing and it's not, and you want me to believe that it's not just for attention, and you're saying you have evidence, why aren't you releasing that evidence?
Yeah.
Because I can go on here every day and be like, look, children getting trafficked and this and that is a horrible thing, and it's a huge issue going on right now. And yes, that is a good message to spread. That is good to raise awareness about that message. But at the same time, we got to be real with ourselves and be like, look, if you say you have evidence and you're not showing the evidence, how valid is the point of you saying that you've seen it all, you have videos in this?
Yeah.
It adds.
It doesn't have much weight to it.
I don't want to say weight because that message still has a ton of weight, but it's almost like you're using it for your own personal gain instead of actually.
He's either a marketing genius or he's saying the truth, bro. And I feel like part of me wants to believe he's saying the truth.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, all this year, I've always said 2024 is the year of the light. Because all these things are coming out right in front of us. And I don't know if you've seen these things, but they have to show us. They have to show us in our eyes, right in plain sight. Because if they don't, then they get karmic retribution for that.
Yep.
Which is a very real thing.
Yeah.
But like they say, for example, like it could be jokingly, but like you'll see it in, I'm gonna say celebrities, but they say things like horrible things that you wouldn't think of them doing, and then a few years later, it comes true that they were doing those things, and it was very in front of your face.
Yeah.
Bro, like the.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Like that was way too obvious, dude. I will stand on it. I'm bleeping their name. Like I literally don't even want to support them at all because the name in itself means to praise another god.
Yep.
Which is this, whatever.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It's to like praise the devil, basically.
That's crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I stand with Kanye when it comes to Balenciaga. Fuck Balenciaga. Kanye, I feel like he's losing his mind, but like at the same time, he's doing the same thing. He did the same thing Ryan Garcia is doing now.
The thing about Kanye, bro,
which is just like,
nah. I mean, and I guess it's gotten a little worse over the years, but like Kanye's done the same thing he's stayed the same. He's just always relevant with what's going on. Yeah. Like at now we can look back at Kanye, acting crazy and wilding out and doing Kanye shit and laugh at it and be like, yeah, he was right. But whenever it's in the moment, we all think he's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's because our society has made us accustomed to thinking that's crazy and that's not.
He has a really good quote that is like, when you're telling truth, when you're speaking the truth in a world full of liars, you seem crazy. It's something along the lines of that.
Yeah,
I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
That's in a song.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, wait. No, that's in his quote. Yeah.
I think it was an interview.
Yeah.
I think it was the Joe Rogan one, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that is very, very true. And it makes me double take kind of everything that I hear. Like when I think something's normal and when something's right, something's wrong, it makes me think twice because it's just like, well, he could be crazy or he could be telling the truth and I'm just kind of mind-washed, which is very possible.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
That's one of the things that my professor says is that one of my professors that I really like at school says to us, always question everything in front of you. Just keep questioning, because if we don't become accustomed to questioning things, everything will seem normal to us and we're never gonna develop a deeper understanding for anything around us.
The other thing is, bro, we're young. We're constantly consuming media.
Yeah.
Which is kind of bad because it's all controlled.
I'm actually I'm really interested as to what our generation's going to be like, because we're consuming so much information at such a fast rate that no other generation has done before. Your brain it's like a computer. It only has so much storage. So I'm interested to see what's going to see. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the future of us.
Yeah.
I kind of want to redirect though towards back to what Dani was saying when it comes to karmic retribution.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've been way more in tune with a spiritual realm recently, which has been really, really cool. I've been feeling vibes of things a lot more.
Yeah.
And same. Usually look, I know we've talked about this. I don't know if it made it in, but we have talked about crystals and stuff on the podcast.
Yeah.
Before. We definitely have. And I never said it that I fully believe in it. And I don't think that I will ever say that I fully believe in crystals, but I do think it has the potential to be true. But I do believe in energy. I'm a very, very big believer in energy and the spiritual world. Dani, I know you know a lot about it. So I have a few questions for you. why are there different energies, and where do these energies come from?
So, from my understanding, and I was actually having a conversation with this about my dad, and I was like just questioning things, like going through my head because I think a lot, and I was thinking about something that I thought before was just like complete BS. Like I thought the Bible was complete BS, like straight brainwash. And then I started to look at it, and I was like, okay, so the Bible says that there is a God, and that there is a devil. Okay, good. But what does this mean? Okay, why was this presented to us in that way in the Bible? Well, and then I came to the conclusion, what if that was a personification of good light energy, which I could call the light, and then bad energy, which you could call the dark? So I started talking to my dad about it, and he was like, yeah, there's good entities with good energy, and there's bad energy with bad entities. So then I started to look at it, and I was like, okay, maybe this God and devil thing could be real, but I just didn't agree with the way it was presented to me. But now I can understand it better. So then I started looking at the world around me, and I was like, do I ever see people with like this bad energy around me, bad entity? And then I find out later that they did something horrible, and then I would be like, oh, well, they let all this bad energy into them. And these entities, from what I understand, they feed off people that are easy to take control of in that way. You know? So it's like kind of like in an alien movie when they say, oh, the alien or this virus needs a host. That's exactly what it's doing. So, and then there's also people that, you know, for example, Buddha or Jesus Christ, they have all this good energy, and they've attracted that to themselves through lots of self-work, lots of being in tune with the now, which is a very important thing. And they can attract that to themselves. It's like whenever I feel like I'm in a bad situation, I picture a ball of light in my body, and I just picture it growing and growing and growing, and all of a sudden I feel calm. So people can call that like the spirit of Jesus being inside of me, or other people can call that, for example, for Muslims, it could be Allah, like growing strong inside of them. Well, what I think about it in my way, so that it works for me, is good energy being like filled up inside of me.
That's real.
So like that's really what I recommend to people is don't go off just like strict guidelines of religions.
Facts.
Find out what works for you and what makes you feel like you're the best version of yourself.
Facts.
Because sometimes, for example, me, I'm like a very free thinker. I like to think outside the box. Like I don't like being in constructs, not be structured.
Facts.
And so that's why I always rejected all of these religious like ideals that were like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. But just take the good from everything. Everything is good, everything is bad. What is good, what is bad? That's what I always like to think about. Take the good from everything, take the negative from everything, and find out what works for you. That's my advice.
Facts,
basically.
bro.
That's pretty interesting.
I felt that heavy. It's hard for me to completely commit to a religion, bro, because in my head, like, God is not tied to a religion. God is God. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that humans made religion to comprehend God, something outside of space and time. But I don't want to be blasphemous or anything, but it's just really hard for me to believe that God is a man.
Yeah.
You know what it's
okay.
Really hard for me to believe that.
Okay.
I think God is energy, and I don't know.
And that's one thing that always drove me. One thing that always drove me away from being like, in this kind of talk was like, the people like I see on social media all the time. Oh, he's gonna go to hell for doing this. You better like pray that your sins go away, stuff like that, and all of this negative energy. And I think to myself, did this God want us to be doing this to each other? Like, was this his message to spread negativity onto others? No. Like, there's no way.
I think what you're describing is what's considered human error. There's a difference between perfection and human. Humans were given free will. By my belief,
100%.
I have made a development in my religion and in my faith and in my practice recently, and that is that I don't really stick with a single titled religion. I believe in Jesus, I believe in God, but I don't want to fully associate myself with a religion, because the religion itself has done so many bad things that are against God. How is that really in the light of God? The only true thing that I feel is the Bible, and then obviously my communication with God. And so
Conversations with God.
That's really all that matters. It's it's not this branded thing. It's just between you and God. That's it.
Whether you want to call it God, whether you want to call it the universe,
whatever, bro.
And I like to think about it, and people call me crazy for this. I just think about it like in some warp of space and time, that God that I'm speaking to is the highest version of myself. So if I speak to myself in that way, and I imagine myself talking to the highest version of myself, it won't be me in a human form or anything. Just sending that positive energy to myself is what's gonna elevate my consciousness.
Yeah, bro.
I also think it's really important, whether it's energy, God, whatever it is. I think you need to believe in something.
Yep.
I don't think you can just believe in science. I think that's really dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we really come to a dangerous place when we're talking about someone who just believes in science, that just believes that no matter what they do, there's going to be no consequence to it, and that the world is purely science. I think that's really harmful. I think that's really damaging. And at least I found that when I didn't believe in anything, when I believed that there was an energy, but who knows really?
Yeah.
I was sadder.
Facts, bro.
I was not as happy. I was making probably a little bit more reckless decisions, and way more reckless. And so continuing on with spirituality and all things like that, psychedelics have had people with many encounters with an energy being, a spiritual being.
Yeah.
Something across that spectrum, right? I heard a story the other day of somebody who used to take like DMT, acid, mushrooms, and whatever, and he just really wanted to take mushrooms one day. Went over to like one of his buddies' house to record a song, and then took like a mushrooms bar because he was a dealer and he just had mushroom bars, and told him to have one.
Good.
And then he had one. His friend said like, I'm gonna dip to the bar, like, you want to come? And he's just like, nah. And he just stayed there, and basically like he started having like a really bad panic attack. And then he started like not being able to breathe and like whatever else, and then he felt like he was in a hand. And I guess there's something to do with like the Christian religion and like being in the right hand of God, where like it's either like a really bad thing or like a good thing. And so like on one side, like below him, he could see like, I guess he just knew that it was like emptiness, like there was nothing. And then above him was God, basically, right? And he was talking to God and whatever, and whatever happened, God ended up putting like, he just smiled at him and said it's okay. Like basically kind of like he felt like he knew he was wrong for eating off the devil's plate. Because and then God basically just said, like, Jesus smiled at him and said like, look, it's okay, like everything will be okay, like, and he basically said like, it's okay, he's one of mine. And then gave him like, start putting breath into him, and then he was okay.
So if God made this planet, then why do you say the mushroom is the devil's plate?
Because
hold on, because I do want to add one small thing. If mushrooms, if taking mushrooms and becoming, not sober, I'll say it that way, is, part of the devil, how is he able to speak to God? You know what I mean? How is he able to use mushrooms as a medium to speak to God if it's the devil?
So I can't answer that. I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough for that. I'd answer yours is that God teaches in the Christian faith, Jesus teaches that the sober mind is the best mind. You're supposed to be sober. You're not supposed to take psychedelics and whatever. Just because something's there, just because there's a knife doesn't mean you should go stab yourself, right? Like just because it's there doesn't mean you should use it. Just because there's a hot fire doesn't mean you should go touch it.
Right.
Like,
Well, yeah.
Right. So like, that's kind of where like my argument is with people who want to smoke. Like, first off, you're free to smoke. Do whatever you want. That's all you. If you want to take mushrooms, that's all you. I don't care. Just make sure it's legal in your state. Same thing with marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure they're legal in your state, and that you're doing it legally. Other than that, the religious aspect to it is that you're supposed to be treating your body with the highest amount of respect and keeping it the healthiest it could possibly be, because you get one and it's a gift from God. The next thing is that the sober mind's the best mind, and that you're supposed to stay sober. It's kind of the same thing with drinking in my faith. You're allowed to drink, but you're not allowed to drink to get drunk. You're not allowed to try to leave that sober mind, basically. So that's kind of where it connects. I think I have two ways of thinking about when it comes to psychedelics. One, I think medically speaking, really, really good. But I do think that it is either a spiritual connection or it's just your mind playing tricks on you, and just that's what you think about. Realistically, that's just what you think about, and you just want to think like that. And because it connects everything in your brain, you're just able to think about it in more clarity and whatever else. Well, I guess not clarity, but in a way that everything in your brain's connecting better, and that's just how you want to think. And that's why I think searching for answers with it would be good.
Yeah.
And that it is beneficial medically is because it does connect, scientifically, it does connect a bunch more things than what is already connected in your brain.
I saw a study that like that for patients microdosing like psychedelics helps them with depression and stuff.
Yeah.
Like schizophrenia and stuff like that.
But I think that's if they're first off microdosing and then they're going into it with that specific intention of doing it medically like that.
But I've watched a bunch of videos on people's trips on all types of drugs, DMT, acid, whatever. And some saw the religious, but I feel like all of them saw a manifestation of what their brain is always thinking about.
Yeah.
So, for example, like a person like you, if you took a psychedelic and you're a very religious person, there's higher chances that you're going to see some sort of Christian figure in your trip. Just like your dreams are a manifestation of what's going on in your brain and your subconscious all the time. So if you feed that religion into you, like for example, let's say I'm a Muslim, and in my subconscious mind and my conscious mind I'm a Muslim, and I take a psychedelic trip, I'm gonna see Allah. I'm gonna see what's that block called?
What, the
Starts with a K, yeah.
Kabbalah or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna see that in my psychedelic trip. So that's an argument to your point there, but I mean, I really don't think psychedelics are bad, because if you look back at old, like I was in Europe and I saw old like paintings on walls, like they've been doing this for centuries. Like even like sage that they burn in churches back then. If you inhale sage enough, you'll start
hallucinating.
Yeah, you'll start hallucinating. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but I mean everybody has their own opinion on it.
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing either. I don't know. I haven't really researched it enough, though. I don't want to speak too much about it. But I do know that you can't get addicted to it. At least shrooms, at least mushrooms. You can't get addicted to it, and you can't overdose on it.
Exactly.
Which is interesting.
I mean, it's almost like it was placed here for humans to use it. That's what I'm thinking.
I find that really hard to kind of get with, because people say that about weed as well, that you can't get addicted, but I know a lot of people who are addicted to weed.
You can get addicted to weed. I don't think anybody said
not
it's not.
Though.
Yeah, it's not chemically, but you can get.
I think you could get addicted to the feeling of getting high. No matter what you're getting high, you can get addicted.
I don't know, dude. I've seen multiple studies. It's not like a high. It's literally a mental journey. It's an intense
People even describe it as an ego death.
Yeah, bro.
Well,
like, it's
I think
different.
That depends on the amount you take. From
Yeah.
what I've heard, because you can kind of control where you go.
One thing I will say is, if you're under the age of 25, I wouldn't do it because it's better if your brain is fully developed. 100%.
I think so too, honestly.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, at least I know in my lifetime, I want to try DMT because I don't know. I'm just so interested in all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I've heard I've heard people's trips of them being like in a timeline for like 40 years.
Yeah, bro. You live a whole lifetime. Sometimes,
depending on
depending on how you take it,
and what you take.
how much you take, what you take. Yeah,
because there's
other
different
factors.
forms of DMT, like DMT. There's a bunch of different forms.
Yeah.
You should really study before you do any of it, if you're going to do any of it.
By the way, DMT is found in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's found naturally in your body. It's mainly produced during death and birth.
Yep.
Which is crazy to think about.
Which is an interesting one. What's the drinkable one? It starts with an A.
No idea. I don't know that much about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's actually done in Colombia, so there's no, listen, what? I forget what it's called. It'll come to me eventually.
Aguardiente.
But basically, it's in the culture, and you take this drink, and it's a psychedelic, and basically it's your way of understanding your brain, coping with death, basically.
In Colombia?
Yeah, it's practice in Colombia. It's an actual like practice. It's not like
It probably came from indigenous tribes.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to look this up because it's gonna screw with me if I don't.
A few moments later.
It's ayahuasca. Have you guys heard about ayahuasca before?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so it's like a liquid form of DMT.
Oh, okay.
And they do it in like actual practices, and you
Religious practices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Basically, you're supposed to get somebody who's done it before, and they actually like in their culture, whichever culture founded it, they started them off at like really, really, really young ages, like 10 years old. And
wow.
Basically, you're supposed to go with somebody who's an expert in it, and then you kind of go through the journey, and you're supposed to like really only take like 3 sips, basically, or 3 cups, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it seems really interesting. Everybody who's kind of done it became happier after. But they also say that it's a really, really difficult journey. That, like, at some point, really, you don't want to be in it at all.
Yeah.
And that you just kind of are confronted with everything that's, like, wrong in your brain. So, like, people who are really... No, like, seriously, like, people who are really scared of death, that's the first thing they're going to face. And they're going to face that head on.
Everybody's scared of death.
Yeah.
Remember what you watched? A Mind Explained?
Yeah.
That's where anxiety roots from.
That's
natural.
It's a survival instinct.
That's natural.
Anxiety is a survival instinct. It's when you're in the place where you fear you can die. Your body reacts in a way to naturally survive.
Exactly, and it can be the most minimal thing.
Yeah.
But okay, real talk. Shout out Netflix on this one. The Mind Explained is easily my favorite Netflix series ever.
It's really
Easily,
good.
hands
I gotta
down.
watch it.
Bro, I told you to watch it. You have to watch it. It's so interesting. The one on dreams. So I'm in Hawaii, and randomly I get this crazy freaking dream. This crazy dream. And I literally wake up at 3 a.m. Hawaii time. And I just start texting Dani about my dream. Like, just nonstop. Like, he was asking me questions between, but, like, I just had to spit it out because I'd forget it. And I knew I would.
Yeah.
And it was so vivid in my brain. So vivid in my brain. And he literally just told me, yo, like, watch the Mind Explained on Dreams. You gotta watch it. You'll find it really interesting. I watched it, dude. Insane. And it kind of talked about how dreams have been linked with, you know, like a higher being or different energy or, like, you know, whatever else in previous cultures, times, whatever. But now we kind of understand that it has everything to do with the subconscious. You can't dream of something that you haven't seen before. So, like... For example, the people who are in your dreams that you don't know, you've definitely seen before.
That's crazy.
And you just don't know.
That's crazy.
Right? And so, like, when they studied the people's brainwaves, so they try to, like, they gave people images and situations, and they studied their brainwaves on that. And then when they were in the dreams, they were producing those same brainwaves.
And that's why we have deja vu. because like if you go out somewhere and you're like, I've been here before, but you can't think of it, you might not remember the dream visually, but our brain is like a computer. It stores every single dream, everything, and so like you look at that and you make a connection to your dream, and you're like, well, what happened? So that's why every time I remember a dream, I always write it down, because like I don't know, I think it's cool to keep track of.
I try to do it too now. I've tried my best to keep track of it, because so in our community college, you have to take a class to start off called Cornerstone, right?
Yep.
And in Cornerstone, they talk a lot about psychology, actually.
Yeah.
And our professor was awesome. Dani and I's Professor Ryan. He talked a lot about dreams, and
I had his wife. She was great.
Carl
Young. He did a lot of research on it, and he thought that it was your subconscious speaking to you. If you look at things in your dream, it means different things, and it's your subconscious speaking to you. So I take dreams in a very high regard like that. Like I don't think dreams are just something that your brain thinks of, because it doesn't make sense as to why it would exist. It's okay. There's no reason as to why it would exist then in my brain. Because that's so much storage of your brain that would just be taken up. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I think it has a deeper meaning to it, and we just don't know it. And that's why we're doing the research to go find out. And
some of the most like human advancements that have been made in recent history, for example, the atomic bomb by
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Robert J. Oppenheimer. Is it Robert?
I want to say yeah.
I don't know. Well, by Oppenheimer, if you watch the movie, and it's a true story, he was having these visions, and we want to think these visions are coming from his conscious mind, and that's what manifested into his reality when he made the bomb. Or, for example, a common one would be Albert Einstein, and how he saw like a field full of sheep, I want to say, and when he saw that and he transferred into reality, he came up with the theory of relativity. So like dreams can be, like, I would take them as just messages. Just try to analyze them as much as possible, because if you try to analyze them, you will come up with the result of what it actually means, because that is stored in your subconscious somewhere. Yeah. But if you don't try to analyze what's happening, it's never going to transfer to your conscious
It's
mind.
almost like something you already know. You just have to find it within your mind, which is cool.
And I've done a lot of therapy with that, because one of my cousins, shout out to her, she does a form of therapy that has to do with your subconscious mind. And dude, I really, really recommend it, because she literally goes back. She makes you do exercises in your mind to go back into your subconscious mind, go back into your life, and find exactly what that thing that was bothering you stemmed from. And it's insane.
That's really interesting. You said something that I was about to go on, was that they said in the studies that were found is that like your brain can actually, like when you're dreaming, it's making connections that you wouldn't make consciously. Yeah. It's your subconscious mind is making connections that you wouldn't make because you wouldn't think of making that connection. So it's just kind of like throwing ideas off of each other, and it's so out there, but some of the best things have ever been created from it. I do want to try that, actually. I do want to try the subconscious therapy.
Yeah, it sounds interesting,
man. It's crazy.
It sounds very interesting.
Because your subconscious is so powerful, and you, like, people like to think like, oh yeah, like I'm in control of my subconscious. Like when I think to myself, I know what I'm thinking, but that's your conscious mind. Yeah. Even if it's in your head, that's your conscious mind.
Exactly.
People have no idea what goes on in their subconscious mind.
Yeah. Not at all.
It's crazy.
No idea.
But it's really, really cool. Now with that said, Dani, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you guys. It's always a pleasure to be on here.
It's been really
and it's fun.
We're gonna get you definitely back on again.
Yeah, I want to do a music review.
Oh yeah, we got.
Oh yeah, we'll do a music review for sure. Yep. So if you guys are watching this, music review should be out.
Hopefully,
we're gonna pray.
YouTube, please.
YouTube? Nah, it's not even YouTube. It's the people who are copywriting it, the people who own the music. Please email me, or I'll email you. Just please let me get the credit and approve me being able to use the music. Please, we want to be able to do music reactions. we're gonna try to do a little bit mix of both. We're gonna try to do 2 videos a week. We're gonna try to do music and podcast. And I guess that's kind of it for this podcast. We thank you guys for tuning in after probably about 2 or 3 weeks of no podcast.
Yeah.
We really do still love making these. We just kind of needed the break. Life got a little complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And,
We're busy.
We'll be back.
Yeah,
we're going to be back. We're going to be very consistent again. Dani, thank you for coming back on
No
the
problem,
podcast.
boys.
And
It's awesome.
with that being said, guys, have a great day, week, month, and year. Have a good one, guys.
See you, boys.